Should be live. Just gonna check audio. Okay, let me bump up my audio a little bit. Let me know if this is too loud or something, or too quiet. There we go. Or not. Yeah, I was gonna do this earlier in the week, but so I got my graphics card back, and it was not the graphics card. So it's either the motherboard or the processor. I still have the processor under warranty, but I should be getting some money here in a few days, and I'm just gonna buy another X99 motherboard. They're like $100 off eBay before I go and invest in a whole new system. Because if it is the processor, I can get that replaced under warranty. Still got like a year left on that. This computer that I'm using, it's got some issues itself. I had to work through a few issues. It was giving me quite a few blue screens the other day. It's an old AMD FX machine I got back from my mom. It's one I built back in high school. So, before we get started, I have a link to this in the description, but they sent me this nice little gift for working with them on the Romulan video. It's just a postcard there, and then it's a nice little mug. Cardassian one that's, I think the name on them was Geeky Tiki. It's pretty neat. And while I've got that open, so I had run through the numbers. Oh, yeah, Hugo, the graphics card was replaced free under warranty. I've still got like a few years left on it. It's an EVGA one. Their warranties are pretty good here in the US. But I had mentioned this and I clicked off of it. This was just the results of the first test I did like a week or so ago, when I went through and opened 180 Infinity Lock boxes to see if I could profit. And in this case, I actually did profit 800 million, and then this stuff ended up selling for 928. But I'm going to do this test a few more times before I go out and make a video for it. This was opening the Infinity Lock box on a Klingon, because that has the most profit potential. You can open on a Romulan also, which is what I do with this character I'm currently on. But you don't open lock boxes on Feds unless you're wanting to blow all your money and not get any of it back, basically. So I have a new time that's been working pretty well for me opening boxes. I'm going to see if it works again here on stream. It's 1 minute after on the hour, so doesn't matter if I'm on my bridge, Deep Space Nine, wherever. It's let me pull a few ships in a row the last few days. I'd like to get some more keys, but nothing seems to be selling. So I did a few Hive Space Elites when I first got back on the other day, and Man, that is rough now. I didn't realize how rough they had made that. I need to go through and do some testing for Alfie for SCM still with it, but the few runs I've done, it's just been crazy. I'm talking like 4 to 6 minute runs with a full high DPS team compared to the 2 to 3 minutes before. Basically doubled the time. So last week I had been doing stuff on this character, and I guess we can keep messing around with it today. So I do not have the new episode stuff yet. I know it's been a day since it came out, but I haven't had a time to, or like the chance to go through and mess with it yet.
The homeworld of the founders is under attack.
But there's a thread up on STO builds on Reddit discussing all of it, and the set is very good if you're using Polaron.
I'm asking you to join in the defense efforts as soon as you can.
It certainly opens up quite a few more options. What's this?
And warp to Impersa from there. Remember, if we fall, the Alpha Quadrant is next.
That's pretty nice.
It's time to make a stand. I hope you'll join in the fight.
So, none of the sites that I know of had anything about that ship because it wasn't there. There hasn't been a triple patch, so they wouldn't be able to get that info. So this is one that Cryptic really snuck up on us, and it's you know, interesting, but it comes back down to Cryptic making a mine ship, if you want to call it that, because that's essentially what they're trying to do, is make a mine ship, except for they've done it on a ship that will not be able to fully take advantage of the mines. Like, you can't get the highest level mine abilities on that. Dog's going nuts again. Hello, and yeah, the Polaron stuff's nice, and then, Michael, I have not messed with the promo packs at all. I hate the promo packs. It's just such a larger gamble. Let me just go see what this dog's barking at real quick. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, the promo packs would probably work well also, it's just the larger cost with them. That'd be... it's just such a gamble there. With the lock boxes, the nice thing about those is you're going to get more low buy for your investment, or for the EC you spend, and just, you know that you're going to have other things that are going to sell well. With those promo packs, especially the R&D ones, the R&D packs don't sell that well. So, like, with lockboxes, you have quite a few things that are going to sell for at or above the price of a single key. With the promo packs, you're losing most of the time. You simply can't get an R&D pack and 10 low buy to recover the cost of, like, what, 15, 20 million for a promo pack? I haven't looked at the exact prices they are right now. I haven't done the new mission yet. Yeah, they'll probably unslot it if you use it now. Because yeah, as Ulfgar mentioned there, it's the third weapon, the Polaron 360 that you get from the new mission. It can be equipped as a third Omni for a Polaron setup right now, but they will likely go in and change that. They've already said that they're going to change that with the patch, but if you have it slotted, they'll likely force it to unslot. Some stuff they do that with, some others they don't. It's a bit weird. Okay, let's you know, the vengeance with cannons, we've seen this like 50 times before, but let's go into ISA and be very frustrated. Yeah, traits are fine. Yeah, and you got the Delta ones, which the thing is when there's the duty officer promo packs, the Delta ones are the only ones people should buy because you get all the other DOF packs from lock boxes. So those are all at a significantly lower value. Delta ones right now are very rare. I gotta get used to this again. Hope we can get this cleared up fast. Got 2 minutes before I need to go over and open those lockboxes. Strategist for the threat. I'd like to try to push the thread off to some of the pugs, but it won't work. As you see there, it's still targeting me. And I'm dead again. There's like no way for me to clear that threat. This needs to hurry up because I'm swapping over to that character at 1 after, whether or not this is finished or not. And it's not going to be at this rate. Terrible run, and there's still spheres left alive. This is what you get for pugging nowadays. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I've been doing so many runs last few days and just trying to get strategists to work. It just doesn't push the threat off to others because they're doing such little damage. I don't remember, Kaiser. I don't think they changed that. Okay, let's open these lockboxes, see if I get a ship. Probably won't now that I mentioned something. No. Not enough. When I was opening like 90 at a time or something, so the 42 I just had wasn't quite enough. That just burned through it. Oh well, I'll try to get something to sell so I can actually open a large amount, because like you can't go into opening lockboxes opening just a few anymore. It just screws you over. Well, with strategist too, I'm on that character I was just on. It's a AoE and single target build. But that doesn't matter. While I'm on the ground, I'm just going to relist some items because I need something to sell. Need to be able to gamble more. It's all's fine. That's a bit different. What about the Temporal Destroyer? It was undercut. You know what? They can all go to 245. Yeah, it's my experience with pugs ever since Victory is Life. Now that I've been able to play again, so this last week when they've buffed up the HP, is that pugs are even worse. CNC, how many boxes you open? And congrats. Let's see. D7's a good ship. $20. Did you open right at one after? It seems like the times have changed a bit since like that last Infinity update where they combined the T6 boxes. Those they changed something with that because it's just not pulling as many ships, but the times have certainly been a little bit different. Nice. Okay, so you guys see there. If you want to try to get a ship, try to go at one after. It seems to be working pretty well if you have a large amount of stuff. Don't go and open just like 42 lock boxes like I did. Open a little bit more. Kaiser, they were supposed to have been fixed, but I haven't looked close enough. I don't even want to look at the parse for that run I just did. It's gonna be terrible. And also, if I do randomly freeze at some point, that's this computer being, well, the processor at least being pretty bad. It should have been fixed with like Victory's Life. But yeah, if I freeze, it's because the computer blue screened again. Oh boy. There's the parse from that run. 4.5 minutes at 132. That was just a bad run. Very bad. Let's see. What ship should I go to next? I know exactly what ship. Let's see here. Yeah, this computer, so I got my graphics card back, but I needed a new processor motherboard. So I had a 5820K on a cheap MSI motherboard before, and I'm guessing that the motherboard is the issue. So right now what I did is I went and got one of my old computers I built back in high school for my mom. It's an FX 8320 on the first gen Asus Sabertooth 990FX motherboard. It's pretty old. But with this Galaxy class here, I'm going to do a pure rapid fire because I know it upsets some people and because it's also just really, really fun. So preferential targeting. What else can I do here? Can't do directed energy flux because there's not a proper seat for it. What I can do though, put in team 1, and I don't have rally point marker there. Okay, never mind. It was a very good thing back in the day for like a budget setup. So the FX stuff is decent, but it's a little outdated. I've got my 1080 Ti in it, and that should be slightly bottlenecked. Aux to bat on everything. It's the meta, man. You can blame Cold Hearted, which I am honestly surprised hasn't been nerfed yet. What to do for the last trait? Promise of Ferocity, I guess it is. Yeah. Okay, so this is a mix of disruptors and phasers. I should go all phasers, but I don't have enough stuff for that. But I've got the saucer separation console on even, so. I don't know exactly. This has got to be a fleet skin with the blue lines. I think that's usually fleet too. Okay. Where can we go that we can be disappointed because the pugs are extremely bad? Here? Kittimer. Oh yeah, let's watch the pugs fail to kill probes. So the EVGA cards, my first 1080 Ti from them went out after a month. I had to send that back to them because the massive artifacting on it was insane. Then the second one, which is the one I sent back, lasted 9 months, but now it looks like it might not even been that card that was the issue. No Noskian Disruptor set love. No. Nah, you don't need to run that on mixed builds. The Noskian stuff is if you're doing like pure Disruptor. I just realized too, there's like lines on this was probably from the shields. Not enough beeps to take that down. Something hit me hard there. And the saucer's already dead. Thank you for watching the videos, Marcus. Stuff's just hitting too hard now. I know. I'm a scrub. But regardless, you should be on Oxtabat if you're doing anything with VPS right now. Like with Energy Weapon, because it's just cold-hearted. Yes, the pug failed to kill the stuff. I love it. I could have helped there, but I just like watching him fail to take out Probe. I think I've lost the saucer separation. It's not coming back. Yeah, it's not coming back. Yes. I am truly a scrub. Do I have to fly back over to the thing where it died? Or, like, died instantly? It's okay, Saucer. You can come back to life. No. I think that thing's just gone for good. Yeah. Now this is advanced. They buffed it all up. There is no elite of most of the Borg stuff. So, why Oxtabat? Because really just, you know, cold-hearted. Where is it here? It's a big debuff. It's basically a free attack pattern beta 3 on whatever you shoot. Yeah, the ship is actually here now. Stupid saucer separation. So it's not a good benchmark, but it did 100k in there. 101. So we'll work with it. I think my initial plan for this ship. Wow, Kaiser. Wow. My initial plan for this ship was to put torp spam on it with cannons, so we'll just do like a concentrate firepower 3 and like a high yield 2 or something. Then spam the Delphic torp. I think that could do pretty good DPS. Yeah, they messed with the scaling in all of the PWE queues last week. What else can we do here? Red alerts aren't a good test. Terrible, Kaiser. You just want QQ. I know it's what you want. Let's see here. I haven't checked my Jemadar lately. I guess I sort of stopped caring about it. Let's see. Hello. You opened 50 of the Delta packs? Oh yeah. Delta Prime used to be really popular. It's still somewhat popular, but it's not as big of a deal as it once was over here. But if it sells for $1 billion, you sell that. Man, that is crazy. Uh, Delta Prime is still good. It's just that the threat meta was killed off with Season 13 over here. There's still tanks running around, it's just not as many because now it's if you're running a tank, it's because you actually want to tank and not that you just want to, abuse that and feedback pulls. Just starting one trash thing in each category, then hopping back off this character because I don't care enough about this one. Will it be easier nowadays to level up? Yes. Getting up to 65 shouldn't be that bad. It's the issue when you have leveling. The issue you'll start to have is um, more on grinding up the spec points, but even that with Admiralty you can do in a decent amount of time. It's on a Just looking, Scramble Fighters is certainly nice. It's not as big of a deal nowadays, being that they added in the Warp Core Breach immunity to the pets, but it's still pretty handy. No, I had stuff listed on some other characters. Hopefully there's not too much background. The interstate is annoying as usual. Yeah, I can't stand the controls on console. There's just so many different things that go into so many different systems, and they're just so limited over there. They can't even change their power levels. So you don't want to do what I'm doing here and getting a little bit of EC and going and buying keys. You want to wait until you have a large amount to open, because you usually lose when you do this. Like that. Hello, Betty. The new episode set. So the new episode set, went over it just briefly at the start. It's a good puller-on option. But the issue is with the set bonuses on it is that you need to be running a full puller-on boat really to take full advantage of it, and that's not the easiest thing right now, because puller-on doesn't really have that many good options. Protonic puller-on is really, like, it should be like the best puller-on, but they didn't really buff it up with Delta Rising or have it scale up well, so it still sort of sucks. Yes, we just need re-engineering for ship seating. Exactly. That's what we need. Cryptic, please. Let's go Lance the Tholians, I guess. The question is shotgun Lance or nah, I'll just do normal Lance. The Lucari Polaron have a decent heal, but it's the set items there are really good with rapid fire or beam overload or surgical strikes for the technical overload. But the rest of them, nah. That puller on land, or the phaser land sucks. Has anyone lost any DOFs recently? I had a fabrication engineer just completely go missing on this character for RSP. How long does it take to get an Akira class heavy cruiser? Like, the Akira. I'm probably thinking of the wrong thing, but aren't you Akira? Where the hell is it? It's like, isn't that the heavy carrier, like the escort, heavy escort carrier? I might be thinking, yeah, this is the Akira, like the tier 5 version. So it's what, $25 for the tier 5 version, 30 for the tier 6. I mean, you can get it instantly if you toss a little bit of money in, basically, once you're up to level 60, or, well, 50 actually. The issue with keeping your shields up is that they'll just tear through it. And especially now that we're in the meta with Protomatter and DPRM. I don't have Protomatter on this, but the DPRM console, and which gives you 500% whole regen while the active's up, and then you've got the Protomatter, which is another large amount, 400 for me with my current skill rating. You combine those, and that takes you up to like 1,000 whole regen per minute for 20 seconds. So you are healing your entire ship's worth of HP passively every 6 seconds while those two are up. It's just, you get, for the investment and with the current items in the game, you just get more out of the whole tanking than you do shield tanking. And when you get into places like Hive Space Elite, it doesn't matter what type of shield healing you have, it's not going to last in a situation like that. Hive Space Elite is seriously tough right now. What other ships can we mess with? I think we've pretty much seen most of this. And the D7 has a few slight issues with bridge officer seating, but it depends on how you build it. I haven't worked on mine in a while, but it can be pretty tanky if you make the Lieutenant Commander Universal an engineer, but then you limit yourself on tack options. But there's a few different things, and right now it's really hard to say. If you go and try to test stuff in any queue, the queues right now are just not exactly the best way to test because they messed up how the scaling is. They got them scaling up pretty hard. Rens, I was running the Romulan Hyperplasma with high yield spam there a few weeks. Well, actually, it was about 2 months ago, I want to say now. It was doing pretty good. Yeah, if you do Hive right now, Hive Elite is truly an elite queue now. Now, ROM Torp, guys, I was still getting like 50k out of the ROM Torp with spam. Now I've got some ships over on this character I haven't messed with much either. will we see a mine revival? So I need to go through and test mines again. I test mines after season 13 where they, supposedly buffed them, and I was getting worse results than before season 13 somehow. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I'm gonna try to get a mine ship set up for it, but I don't expect mines to do much. What ship to mess with? I haven't done anything with the McKee Raider yet. And I haven't even finished messing with the Jem'Hadar light battle cruiser. Let's try the battle cruiser some more. It's already set up and I still need to level it up. Let's mess around with that. It is the current lockbox ship after all. It's supposed to be, really special. And this should be set up for pure rapid fire. For ground stuff, there's a ground subreddit, STO ground. It's not the most active, but if you want to ever learn about like all the ground meta stuff, that would be the best place to go. I've not even really started Gamma Rep on my tunes yet. I'm gonna regret this later. I'm running full Oxtabat on this ship. Oxtabat 1 and 3 on the Jem'Hadar light battle cruiser. And it is ripping my weapons off as usual. And it's a mixed phaser Polaron disruptor build. DPRM is going to be still as good for a torp boat as an energy weapon boat. The DPRM, let me hover over it here. That's 40% all bonus damage. That's to everything, including exotic stuff. It's just good for pretty much everything. This might sound like a dumb question, but should you focus on a handful of ships on any given tunes, or try to acquire every ship in the game? So, that really depends. If you have, like, a character set up to do the science exotic ships, maybe have all the sci ships go over there. Because what you run into issues with is the skill trees. You start to have issues where you look and you wanted to do a sci setup and you need to have a bit more points in science than you would on your tactical setups. You can do a balanced setup, but it is going to start to limit you in some ways if you try to go and do high-end stuff. I have not paid attention to that, Hugo. And I appear to have the Cardassian mobile torp platform on this. I guess we'll leave it on just to see how it does. Otherwise, it's going to be replaced with hostile acquisition for the AC rating. Let's see. What am I missing by not having this leveled up? Not enough to care about. Combat buff ran out. Timing. So the issue with Tetrion is that the proc sucks. You see a lot of people come into the game and they're like, "Ooh, I want to do Tetrion because of the shield, the damage it does to shields." But that doesn't matter. The proc is, if you go and parse that proc, even with really buffed up Drain X, Tetrion sucks. Like when you're looking at it from that perspective. Most weapon types, you just have to look at them from how many things you can stack up for them. Like for damage buffs. Now, Tetrion's got a few more things, especially if you've got some low-buy sets for it. It has an energy torp out of the low-buy store. So there are options for it. It's just not got as many buffs as like disruptors, phasers, and all the other nice stuff. Okay, let's go into an ISA, because I know everyone loves ISAs. Let me pop my skill buffs quick, though. So these things I'm hitting right now, they give plus 10 to all your skills for the categories. So, like, you know, depending on which one, it's going to give me plus 10 to all my tack ones. Plus 10 to everything on the tack side, the psi side, the inch side. You can get these from your fleet starbase for like 2,500 fleet credits, and they last 4 hours. Might be a bit more, I don't remember the exact cost. But it's cheap. I wouldn't go for Refracting Tet either, just for the fact that you're losing, isn't that one of them you're losing the proc for it? Or losing a mod for the proc, I should say. Let me go look. Yeah, you're losing a mod for the proc. I don't know if I'd make that trade for that. Let's try ISA. Let me get SCM up on the screen. Real-time parser. Let's be sad about the next set of pugs we get here. So, I'm gonna be honest here. I think that Cryptic screwed up with the Q scaling. I think that with the current state of pugs and how most players in the game are, they shouldn't have touched normal or advanced. I get touching elite, and I'm glad they did, but for advanced, they've made it even worse for people. was good. We had a little bit more DPS in there, thankfully. But I don't know why this ship's still 154.5. I don't get why this ship underperforms so much. CRF turret build on the Vorgon. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that ship yet. Yeah, HSC is very rough now. Yeah, we had a lot of DPS there, so that was a good run. But this ship, I don't know why it just doesn't really perform as well as I'd expect. So the prolonged right behind the Terran, they're usually about even in these longer runs. The Piezos did 15.8k, and then the technical overload front did another 7.1, so that brought them up pretty close. My favorite Klingon starship, it's probably going to be the D4X right now. I really like the animations on the D4X. Let me see. I swap between the competitive 3-piece and the 2-piece with the fleet core quite often. It's just something, it's whatever I had this set up for, and I imagine I had this 3-piece on for the Resistance because of pugs. Excuse me while I go undercut someone. Let's go find where I had this bridge officer. Or not bridge officer, duty officer. So the piezo dual cannons, just the set one. When you use rapid fire, surgical strikes, or beam overload, the first shot out with the beam or the cannon in that set does this technical overload thing. And the technical overload does a decent chunk of damage. If we look at the parts again, the technical overload did 7,056 DPS. That's just a guaranteed gonna happen, and on the first firing cycle after the ability's been activated, so that can be every like 15 seconds. And that's pretty decent. While the dual cannons themselves lacked behind the prolonged and the Terran, even the spiral waves did better, being there's two of them. They did about 20, right about 21k. So these piezo polarons were brought up just because of the technical overload. But really, it's, when we look at it compared to a spiral, it's questionable if it's worth it, because I'm only gaining about 1k DPS off of that versus just having another spiral wave on. Or a quad cannon. Okay, so that person had a ground... What is it? I think it's Assault Squad. No? Must be security. That, or I just don't have it on this character. Shit appears I don't. it is a bit unfair to compare, but when we're talking about that large of a difference, where the Piezo Polaron did 15k and the Prolonged and Terran did 25k, that 7.5% Cat 2 from the multi conduit isn't gonna be that much of a difference. It's just when you look at them, the Piezo Polarons suck. It's the only thing that's making them worth running is the technical overload, which is just bringing them up within a few K of those better weapons. Just making them slightly better than having just another spiral wave on or quad cannon or just another random dual heavy or dual cannon. Let's see here. I know I've got some of these stuff somewhere. I bet it was on this one. Crit chance, so those are assault squads. These ground offs sell well sometimes. Let's see what they're at right now. You know, the energy weapon versions for space where they give you crit chance or severity when firing the weapons? Well, there's ground version, and people sometimes pay a lot for them. These were at 30 million just a few weeks ago. Nope, I guess that's all I had then. Okay, back to DPSing. Welcome back, Adam. Yeah, the technical overload, it is splash. So if you can get stuff grouped up, that's even better. But with this ship, I'm not quite sure what the issue is with it. I'm just, when I was running it before my graphics card went down, or the PC there a few weeks ago, right after Victory's Life, I wasn't getting good results from it, and I'm still not getting good results from it. I just don't know what's up with the ship. Yeah, I don't have it leveled, but the resistance and the additional HP isn't really going to do much for DPS. I started out doing like 3k. I remember it was in a Voyager way back. Let's see here. I have no idea why there's no benzite buffs. I wonder if this thing's gonna screw us over. We already have the tier 5 upgrade done because of that bug a while back, but it says we're tier 4. Now we've got an actual subtract tier 5 upgrade going, so I wonder if it's going to fix itself and say tier 5, or if it's just going to be stuck at tier 4. I'm running out of fleet credit bonus pools in this character. Oh boy. those fleets in the Armada going. Just think, if any of you are, you know, big contributors to your fleet, we are only a few months out from them eventually releasing yet another fleet holding. It's either going to be that Dominion one we saw in that mission. Not really a spoiler there, but it's either going to be something Dominion, or it's going to be that one that Gecko tweeted a few weeks ago now, that he accidentally leaked. Most fleets are still at like tier 3. There's no way most of these are gonna ever finish this holding. Yeah, the amount of grinding is something, and with these holdings, and I just hope they've learned their lesson to not do this provision stuff like they've done with the colony. Like all these provisions, this was just an absolutely terrible thing to do. It's coming down. I don't know your exact setup, but the biggest thing when we look at like DPS performance is just how people are flying, how they hit their keybinds. I mean, if you're doing 16k, you're doing a lot more than most people, but when we look at some, I'll go back onto this one just to show, what we'll see is people activate their abilities once and then they just won't keep their abilities up. You gotta, it's like having the keybinds where you can just spam spacebar, you know, where I can just do this and have all my abilities, you know, pop up. That's good. That's what you should be doing. Instead, you don't have people doing that. You'll have people hit their abilities once, and then they don't hit them again. You go look at the pugs in your ISA runs or any of your runs, and you notice a lot of them don't hit any buffs. They're too focused on flying. It's like you need to have all of these buffs up at certain points. That's why you gotta have the keybinds, so that you can still focus on flying, but you have those abilities up. If you don't have those abilities up, you're just screwing yourself. And actually, now that I looked at it again, let's see what the thing he did. Where's the parse? Is that gonna be pet? Oh my. The mobile torpedo platform, 1k DPS. You know what my response is to that? That's the response. Goodbye, console. Yeah, it's just keeping everything up and keeping your cooldowns reduced. So you like Oxabat's just the easiest way to go. You slap on 2 copies of Oxabat. You put 3 Technician Doffs on for Oxabat, which you can get free if you do the Betrayum cluster chain, Doff chain. If you Google that, there's a whole bunch of guides on that. But you can get those Doffs free, and then you just do this. Every like 10 seconds, 10-12 seconds, you can hit Oxabat, which will reduce your cooldowns by 30%. It's just really, really nice. Yeah, multitasking, watching all the stuff on the tray, it's a bit annoying. CNC, if you're not wanting to wait, you can always get a map invite. Or not a map invite. You actually need a fleet invite. So you just temp leave your fleet, join a fleet that has it, buy it, then leave and go back to your old fleet. You can do that. You don't even have to have the entire thing done. You just have to have the overall colony at tier 5. Don't have to have any of the subtracts at tier 5. So if any fleets have that old bug where they got that thing done, like we did with the Breakfast Club, then you can get it just via that. And in PvP Adam, I would have zipped away because that stuff doesn't work that great in PvP right now. It's very sad. The competitive engines, I'm surprised, are still around. I was expecting those to get nerfed. Basically, constant uptime on evasive maneuvers with them. Has anyone got any more questions on? I'm gonna go for just a little bit longer, but I'm gonna have to hop off here in just a little bit. So, the easiest thing you could do is go and look up. Let me just find it. So, this thing. That keybind tool is very handy. It's what a lot of us have used to make our keybinds. It's what I've been using for quite some time. NX refit. Wait, that was on this character. It's an actual fleet invite, Robert, but if you're on Fed side, I can toss you one. I'll check the spirals again here as soon as this loads. All my consoles are for phasers, yeah. Why is there a torpedo aft? Why is there a torpedo on this at all? Okay, let's look at the numbers for spiral waves. 3183. They're still above everything else, same as before. I don't see a nerf there. Nope. If this thing could not change the boss as I go to select him, that'd be great. Vanguard Inch. I'll just change this all over for rapid fire setup. And that's pretty much it. Let's go look at the trade that I'll have to completely fix. Fixing trays, so much fun. I think that's everything, actually. Let's go try this in ISA and be really, really sad. No problem, CNC. So I'm going to take this pure CRF NX build into ISA and be very, very sad when I get pugs that can't kill spheres. It's gonna happen. I know it. Then Robert, that you're on PC, right? Just drop your character, your full character at handle in chat, or you can just message it to me in game at SpencerB96. Change the status again. Pug pickup group. So it's just going into the public queues without any pre-made group. So you're getting a fully random group of players that are typically going to disappoint you, as they do less than your hangar pets or your fleet support will do. That's basically what pugs are, is the way to be disappointed. do all the sphere cleanup. Not the best timing ever on the tracking touchdown cascade, but well, at least no death. Yep. That was not the best turn ever. Let's take a look at the bars. These ISA runs, since the change, they're not as smooth as they were before. The amount of HP that's in here has increased a little bit. Not by too much, just about 10 to 20%. And the enemies hitting harder certainly is not helping with the survivability for most people. Yeah, Hugo not in this specific build, but oh boy, someone's asking me to do HSE. Do I take in a Cyboat or just a rapid fire build? I guess Scimitar. Oh, and he's gonna pug it. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna take in my Cyboat. Because this is gonna be a very bad run for HSC. HSC is Hive Space Elite. It is the hardest Borg space queue in the game right now. You go in and there's a big pile of like just enemy cubes. And then you have two of those big Unimatrixes to take out, and then you have the Queen. Let's go look at the from that the ISA there. The spiral wave cannons didn't do that well there. Surprising. The quad phaser cannons beat the prolonged due to how long the fight was. Hold on. Okay, you see, guys, see what I'm typing here at the bottom left? This / guild invite, and then the name in the what's there? If you do that, you can even invite your own alts into a fleet. I've stopped inviting people with like their alts into TBC and just told them to go do that because people need to learn how for their alts. I am flying the Sona Collector Science Vessel. Or Science Dread. This is a promo ship, a very expensive one. This is the one from Star Trek Insurrection. No problem. You're already in the fleet, Goss. If you needed the Lucari ship. Let's see, what is this? Okay, I don't care. Yeah, so in Star Trek Insurrection, this is the ship that was used to collect the particles above the Baku planet. It's got a nice set of animations. Oh. Okay, Goss PM read at... Hold on, I'll just tell him. I don't care what you buy, we don't have all the weapons unlocked and we don't have the TAC consoles until this upgrade finishes in 9 days. If there's any fleet crap you need, I don't really care. We got so many provisions for everything, it's just ridiculous. Seriously, not gonna burn through 10,000 of these provisions. The only thing we burn through as fast as we get is the Spire ones. That's just because they need DOS to get the provisions. DOFs are a pain, even just a small amount, nobody ever wants to fill them. Oh yeah, the deflector is very good. The impulse engines, not too concerned about. If these competitive engines could stop showing up, that'd be great. So the colony TAC consoles have a proc on them. You're trading the crit chance for a heal proc. The heal proc will go off whenever, well, it has a chance to go off whenever you hit any weapon firing abilities. Weapon enhancement firing abilities like rapid fire, beam overload, torp spread, high yield, fire at will, all that stuff. It has a chance to heal. It's a pretty decent heal. It's a heal over time. Lasts for like 10 seconds, I think, or something. I don't have one on this character to look at, but yeah. Yeah, if you run a fleet at all, or you're an officer in one, you have to go and get used to going to the starbase to go and get DOFs, because that is something you just can't expect people in your fleet to actually go and do. Okay, okay. So, I don't know if you guys have been watching the STO subreddit, but there's been pictures popping up of people getting there. And I don't know how I feel about some of them. Some of them don't quite seem like the highest quality. Let me pull up a picture here. Like, here's another one someone just posted. It just looks fuzzy. Like, for 25 bucks, I'm not sure that's worth it. I think it might just be worth skipping the 4-inch models. I guess I'll see when I have mine arrive here, probably in a month or two. But I don't know how I feel about that. It just looks so fuzzy. I'll drop that link into the comments, you know, the chat on here for people to see. The no doff. There's no doffs. No doffs on this ship at all. Yeah, I'm curious to see how the 7-inch ones look also. I mean, the 12-inch models, those seem fine. But not too confident about the 4-inch ones. And with HSE, the reason I'm saying, like in my chat box here, like, if you want to have a smooth HSE now, everyone has to be doing over 200k DPS. And I know, looking at the people we've got in here, that that's not going to happen. There's like 10 people in the game that are going to be able to do like reliably 200k plus in HSE, and yeah. Yeah, but Hugo, there's been pictures from other people like on the subreddit the last few days, and they just all look really fuzzy. Goss, did you try opening them at like a minute after the hour, or when did you try to open? I have no idea what USPS is telling me was just delivered. Find out later. It's... Let's see here, we're just waiting on a 5th to get in. Do I have any other bonus things on this character? Nope. The plus 10 skill buffs. Waiting for whenever. Oh, we got someone. All good, gosh. Nah, it's every picture I've seen so far. They've all looked like that. For the 4-inch models, at least. And I think Reed managed to get himself out of the private group. Terrible. That or it's bugged to show me out there. Yeah, no. Let's see. I don't know who some of these are. Is he inviting the wrong people? I have no idea. I haven't PvP'd in a few months. This is fun. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad that it worked out for you. Okay. Reed invited somebody, reformed, it looks like, so he could get somebody else. So we have someone in a Fayette who's going to be farmed over a tank. Why is this still flashing? Is there something on this character? Oh boy. This is not going to be a fun round, I bet.
I am perfection. I am Borg.
Yeah, this is a very bad round because, as I guessed, you guessed. This is attack captain running a side boat. This thing can do fine with the DPS team, but I'm the only person over 100k. It's not anyone's issue, it's just how HSE is after the patch. Sorry for that. That was very loud. Yeah, sorry about that. That was Google Voice. I swapped to my phone carriers like just a few weeks ago, and I try to use Google Voice as much as possible because it's one of them where they charge based on how many calls you get and stuff. I just didn't realize it was going to go and blare so loudly through Gmail's tab. Yeah. I accidentally hit it again. My bad. Yeah, I'll show the tank stats after this, but save all of my remaining buffs then for the queen. Spamming my spacebar on as usual. And the F key. SS. Problem, Philip. Glad to hear it worked for you. Wait, that load.
I am perfection.
Yeah, the queen's taking a bit. And I think Reed has the wrong parse. Because that was not 2 minutes. But this thing did great DPS off the bat. I'd love to see what this thing could do in like a proper, really high DPS like run. So much damage at the start. All those blue lines are by is all the exotic stuff I used at the start, getting all the spheres and killing them. Oh, that was something. So there's the tank stats. Yeah, as you can see, the threat spread was pretty even. Reed had a little bit more, but I was at 21, he was at 32.5, and we had a 17, 19, and 10.5. And then we look at the parse here, it's just standard EPG stuff. Deteriorating secondary deflector, the gravwell, the pets, subspace vortex, gravimetric rift from the gravimetric torpedo, the PEP torp particle emission clouds, stabilizing resonance beam. Then because I'm using the Sona, I've got the thermolytic shockwave. And it's all pretty just common stuff from there. Pets. Well, I went through a lot of hanger pets. And that HSE was long enough, I was able to use my anti-time twice. It's not the most common thing. I'm gonna have to get used to that now that HSE's been like made twice as hard. They went and gave Hive Space Elite here 70 million HP basically with that last patch. I wonder how Corfez is. That's going to be something neat to try out with a really high DPS team. That's, yeah. But I'm gonna, that's it here. I guess I'm not in the queue group anymore. Never mind. Let's see. Yeah, so let's see if any of these ships have sold. Nope. I can't gamble when this stuff doesn't sell. It's terrible. Yeah, we made it. It's just, it's very different from how it was before. Yeah, they just Dragon. All they did is they buffed up the amount of HP there is, and some of the stuff hits a little bit harder, it seems, but that's basically it. If you want to have like a really good high-end HSE run now, you need everyone doing over 200k, basically. If you want to have one where it's, you know, like 2 to 3 minutes. Based on the numbers I saw on that run, I wouldn't be surprised if this boat could do 250 in the Sona Collector. If that could do like 250 in HSE, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyhow, does anyone have any final questions? And Dragon, that I've only tested HSE so far, but I imagine they did the same thing to all of the others. The light battlecruiser build? Yeah, I can go swap back to that quick. "51 characters, though I only actually play like 3 or 4 of them. The rest are mostly there for... Well, the top 20 are used for storage, the ones that don't have a number. Those are just used for storage, opening lock boxes, stuff like that. Or like bank fleets. Dragon, everything was buffed up. ISA gained like 10 to 20% HP. HSC gained 70 million HP, so like 70%. Yeah, that's on this one. See, Hugo. The rest of the characters I have are all just there for if I want to do contraband. If I want to do contraband, I've got a video I put out like a month or so back where I showed how long it takes to do contraband on them all. It takes like 17 minutes. And that gets me 100k dill. So the setup I have on this Jemadar light battlecruiser is just a pure rapid fire loadout. It's not ideal. In fact, I need to work on the ship a bit more because every time I take this thing out, it gets less DPS than I expect it to actually be getting. So it's just the 5 cannons for... I've got the competitive 3-piece on, but you could also do the 2-piece with the fleet core. I think I just have this on for the bonus resistance and the 3-piece. Colony deflector, and I've got some spiral wave stuff on. Aft spiral wave turret, trilithium phaser, and then the heavy disruptor. It's just pretty common stuff. Really, the rest of the way then. Yeah, Dragon, I've asked about it, but I haven't been able to test much stuff, so I haven't been able to get a definitive yes or no yet. I just got this computer set up Wednesday and then was working through trying to figure out why it kept crashing most of Thursday. So I'm just glad it's been stable so far. But Super Joe, there's not really much to this then. It's stacking AC stuff, so weapon sensor enhancer, the hostile acquisition console, the domino. Those give me a lot of AC ratings, so I can then stack up the AC overflow. Reinforced armaments for the trilithium 2-piece, protometer for the heal, DPRM with the NX console for the 2-piece, and DPRM of course because it's just so good. 3 cannon stack consoles, and then the multi-conduit. I don't do the story missions on all those characters, Adam. No. They got up to level 11, and then I stopped caring about most of them. All they do is they sit as a security officer and turn in contraband when I want dilithium. Yeah, the healing on this is going to be a bit low. Super Joe, it's not meant to be like a run as a tank in this setup. It's just run... This is like a DPS rapid fire setup. So it's not ideal, but it works. But anyhow, I need to hop off, so thank you everyone for watching. I hope to be catching up on some videos here. And as always, if there's any more questions you guys have, just ask in the comment section when this becomes an actual video.